You're now standing in the original store, Wyong Spencers. From here to the street, a matter of 4 or 5 yards, covers the entire store in those days, 1923. You've now moved over, you're standing in the dining room of the original store. Further through the archway was the kitchen. Upstairs was the living quarters, and that was it. Until in latter years, the store on this side, panning across now to the archway. That was originally Boyer's chemist shop. When they moved to their new premises, my father acquired that, or rented that actually. We're now moving out there. This was a 50% increase in the store size. Same thing here. Originally it was a shop, a dining room and a kitchen, but that had been removed by the previous tenant. So now we had double the area and double the rent, which was quite a big item in those days.
Spencer's being one of the, well, it is the oldest store now in Wyong. Just exactly how did the store start and how long ago did all this happen?
Well, my father came to Wyong in 1923. As far as I can remember, a business was advertised on this location, and he took over the business, which was a very small portion of the present shop, and selling mainly working clothes and basics. As you can imagine, there wasn't room for much else in that small front area.
What year was that?
That was 1923.
And I believe currently you've got a partner, Joy, in the shop, Joy Kent. And how long have you been with Pete now, Joy, as a partner?
Since 1956.
Since 1956, right, okay. Now, just going back to Pete momentarily, can you give us a little bit of, you obviously grew up running around the store, Pete, did you? Or?
Oh, yes. I remember during the Depression years, sitting on the front doorstep with a little dog I had and watching the sparse passing parade. The highway was barely used in those days, and often Dad would say to the only assistant, which was Miss Jean Barriston, "Oh, you better go home and do your ironing, do your washing, there's nothing doing here, you might as well make use of the afternoon," because Depression years were pretty lean years, and I understand now why we didn't have a wireless for many years. We just couldn't afford one. We've stayed virtually looking after the more mature people of the district. We haven't chased the young fashion, and it's sort of stuck with us, and I think it could survive even today, except that we reached a stage where we both feel we'd like to see what's on the other side of the door there.
Right. So you and Joy have come to a decision in how you're going to do. You're going to sell the shop? Are you going to, how are you going to approach this?
Well, we'd prefer to sell the shop if we get a reasonable offer. It'd be much easier for us to just walk out and say someone else walk in. That would be the ideal solution. And also, if someone could carry it on in much the same manners that we have, because there's still a lot of customers that prefer the service and help that we've been trying to give them all these years.
Right. Has Westfield had any impact in your decision?
Very little, really. We decided more or less, didn't we, Joy, that time was coming, and although a lot of people say, "Oh, you're frightened of Westfield," but we still feel that there's...
That's not the reason why we're closing now.
Okay. So who are the main clientele for the store?
Well, there's the farmers from the valleys, there was miners from Catherine Hill Bay, fishermen, and people from the entrance to Tarifa by ferry to Wyong in those days. Quite a busy spot opposite the region, but Joy would know more about that. She started off in this type of business much earlier.
And Joy, can you think of some of the old names, some of the old diehards?
Oh, Finances and Bevans and Stackmans and Palmers.
How did you survive those years?
Well, my father often spoke of buying bale lots of Jap silk from, in conjunction with Frank Pryor of Lisrow, buy it for 4p halfpenny, sell it for 6p, which was one way. Joy could speak of another way.
And bleach calico was always bought by the bale, and sold by the dozen, 4 and 11 a dozen, and they could make it up into sheets, that sort of thing.
In the early 60s, this area now, which you're seeing, was constructed, and quite a big increase in size, as you can see. So, enabled us to carry much more merchandise. Hats, which you're now panning across onto, occupy that complete wall almost, and enable us to carry possibly what has been the biggest hat stock on the Central Coast for some years. And upstairs you'll see the Manchester section, ladies' frocks, underwear, mostly ladies wear on the top floor. Now we're standing in the new area. You probably wonder why it's upstairs, but this hill we built on is notorious for problems with water and drainage, so we took the easy way out and followed the contours by coming up here on a mezzanine level, as you might call it. Woolies, who built next door with their new store, had vast problems with water, so we didn't want to repeat the exercise in that way. So there you have it, 1923 to 1995, and now we're contemplating retiring into the afterworld. What time is it?
38.
38, I think we may be able to do it.
Thank you. That's 38. And underpants also, thank you.
No, 30.
Oh, well, I think I
You want
need
18?
a size 18 included.
Good, I'll see if we can do that for
Sorry.
you.
What, and they're Coral Islands?
Yes,
And-
airflow's no longer made.
Oh, right. And
It's got the holes in it like the
yes,
airflow.
yes. And what about the underpants? Do they have them as
Yes.
well?
What size is that, dear?
Oh, an 18 also, thank you.
Yes, no underpants to match.
Right. Size 18, 90 waist.
Let's
Yeah.
see, here they've got the Coronet Cafe around there.
Okay, thank you very much.
No.
Good.
Thank you.
Well, our
Please.
store motto is, and always has been, service, civility. If we haven't got it, we'll get it.